You are unknowingly turning your own hips into a fluid tourniquet, and it is likely the primary reason your ankles are still swollen. You sit in your expensive recliner to reduce the swelling. You think you are resting. You think you are following doctor's orders. But when you stand up an hour later, your ankles are actually harder, tighter, and more painful than when you sat down. You followed the rules. You put your feet up, but the fluid didn't leave. Why? Because you triggered the hydraulic rule. Without realizing it, you trapped the swelling in your legs. If you do not understand this rule, elevation isn't just useless, it is actively working against you. Most people are fighting gravity and losing. You are about to learn why your favorite chair might be the villain in your living room and the one simple adjustment that changes everything. Let's get real about that feeling. You know the one. It's 6 p.m. You have been on your feet all day. Maybe you were working on concrete floors. Maybe you were chasing grandkids. Or maybe you were standing behind a counter. Your legs don't just hurt. They throb with a pulse of their own. They feel heavy, like you are dragging around 2 blocks of wet cement. Your socks have left deep red indentations in your skin that itch when you take them off. Your ankles look like they have disappeared entirely, merging your calf and foot into one swollen column. So you do what everyone tells you to do. You find your favorite chair, you sit back, you pull the lever on the side of the recliner, and the footrest pops up. You sigh with relief. It feels good in the moment. You think, finally, I am taking care of myself. You wait for the swelling to go down. But here's the hard truth that nobody tells you, and it is a truth that might save your mobility. For many of you, that relief is a lie. When you stand up to go to the kitchen or get ready for bed, your legs feel stiff. The skin feels tight, almost shiny. The fluid hasn't drained, it has just pooled in a different shape. You have essentially created a dam in your own body. You are lifting your feet, yes, but you have closed the gate that lets the fluid out. You are trying to empty a bottle while keeping the cap screwed on tight. To fix this, we have to look at the mechanics, we have to look at the plumbing, and we have to fix it before that temporary fluid turns into permanent tissue damage. I want to take you on a journey through your own body to understand why this is happening, and then I am going to give you a 5-step protocol that will change your evenings forever. We are going to count these down, and you need to stay with me until the very end because the number 1 point, the final step, is a secret release valve that is located nowhere near your legs. If you miss that step, the other 4 won't work nearly as well. It is the missing link in the chain of drainage. But first, let's talk about the kink in the hose. I want you to picture a garden hose lying in the grass on a hot summer day. The water is turned on full blast at the spigot. It is flowing freely out of the nozzle, soaking the lawn. Now imagine you walk over to the middle of that hose and you fold it completely in half. You kink it. What happens? The water stops flowing out of the nozzle immediately. But look at what happens behind the kink. The pressure builds up. The hose gets hard. It swells. It might even start to bulge because the water has nowhere to go. This is exactly, and I mean exactly, what happens when you sit in a soft, sinking recliner. When you sit down in a standard chair or a recliner, your hips are bent at a 90-degree angle. That is the kink in your hose. You might prop your feet up on a footstool, which feels nice because it takes the pressure off your soles, but look at your hips. You are still folded in half. You have effectively blocked the exit ramp at your waist. The fluid in your legs, which is trying to travel back to your heart, hits a solid wall at your hip joint. It backs up. It pools. It creates a traffic jam of fluid that stretches from your hips down to your toes. You are doing half the work, lifting the feet, but ignoring the most critical part, the path to the drain. Fluid acts like a car on a highway. It needs a straight, open road to get to its destination. If the road is closed at the toll booth, it doesn't matter how fast the cars are driving, they are going to get stuck. A recent 2024 analysis of venous pressure dynamics confirms this. When you sit with your legs dependent, hanging down, the pressure in your veins can skyrocket to 80 or 90 millimeters of mercury. When you elevate correctly, it drops to below 20. But if you sit in a recliner with that hip kink, the pressure stays dangerously high in the upper thigh, preventing the lower leg from draining. You are fighting physics, and physics always wins. So you might think the answer is simple. You might think, okay, fine, I will just lie flat on the floor, no kinks. That is certainly better. It removes the fold in the hip, but it is not the complete solution. There is a hidden mechanism in your body that most people completely ignore. Think of it like a master switch for your internal plumbing. Here's the surprising part, and this is where most people get it wrong. This drain is nowhere near your legs. It is not in your hips. It is not in your knees. It is not even in your belly. It is at the very top of your torso. If this specific drain is clogged, tight, or blocked, it doesn't matter how high you lift your legs. You could hang upside down like a bat from the ceiling, and that fluid is going to struggle to leave your body. It's a bottleneck. It's the main sewer line for your lymphatic system. We are going to fix this. We are going to turn your body into a gravity-fed drainage machine. We are going to use the reverse countdown method to fix your elevation technique, starting with the foundation and ending with that secret master switch. Step number 5, the ramp method. Stop building bridges. Let's start with the physical setup. This is where 90% of people fail before they even begin. You know you need to get your feet up. So what do? You grab 3 fluffy pillows from the bed and you stack them on the coffee table or the end of the couch. You plop your heels on top of this tower. Stop doing this immediately. When you stack pillows only under your heels or your ankles, you create a bridge. Your heel is supported and your hip is supported, but your knee is hanging in the air, unsupported. Gravity pulls your knee down, causing it to hyperextend. This locks the knee joint. It creates tension in the hamstrings and the popliteal space behind the knee. When your muscles are tense, they squeeze the veins shut. You are trying to drain fluid through a straw that you are pinching. Furthermore, if the stack is too wobbly, your leg muscles have to micro-contract just to keep your legs from falling off. You might not feel it, but your stabilizer muscles are firing. Muscle contraction is good for pumping, but muscle tension is bad for drainage. We need relaxation. You need to build a ramp, not a tower. The goal is a gentle, continuous slope. You can use couch cushions, firm pillows, or ideally a foam wedge specifically designed for legs. The support must start at your thigh, continue under your knee, and go all the way to your heel. Your knee should be slightly bent, just a soft, natural bend, and fully supported from underneath. When you lie back, your legs should feel completely weightless. If you were to fall asleep, your legs shouldn't fall off the pillows. This full contact support tells your nervous system it is safe to let go. When your muscles relax, the veins dilate and the path opens up. The Mayo Clinic and other leading institutions define effective elevation as having the foot above the knee and the knee above the hip, ideally with the foot at or above heart level. But the heart level part is only possible if you are lying flat or nearly flat. If you are propped up watching TV, just focus on the continuous ramp. Get the incline right, and the fluid will follow. Step number 4, the safety lock, protecting the popliteal. Now that you have your ramp, we need to talk about a specific danger zone. This is a mistake that can actually cause nerve damage if you aren't careful. I see this happen in living rooms everywhere. People take a firm throw pillow, the decorative kind that feels like a brick, and they shove it directly under the crease of their knee because they think they need extra support there. They are right about the need for support, but they are dead wrong about the method. Directly behind your knee, in that soft hollow space we call the knee pit or popliteal fossa, runs the popliteal vein and the tibial nerve. These are major structures. The popliteal vein is the main highway for blood coming out of your lower leg. If you put a hard object directly under that crease, you compress that vein. You are cutting off the circulation. You are creating a new kink in the hose just lower down than your hip. This is dangerous. It can cause nerve pain, creating a pins and needles sensation or numbness in your feet. You might think your foot is falling asleep because it's relaxing, but it's actually falling asleep because you are strangling the nerve. In rare worst-case scenarios, compressing a vein for a long time can increase the risk of a blood clot or DVT. Here is the rule. Never put focused pressure in the knee pit. The support should be broad and soft. It should be distributed along the fleshy part of your calf and the back of your thigh. Your knee pit should be floating on the softness, not resting on a ridge. If you feel tingling in your toes, that is your body's alarm system. Listen to it. Adjust immediately. Comfort is key. If it hurts or if it tingles, it is wrong. Step number 3. The vacuum engine. Breathing for drainage. You are on your ramp. Your knees are safe. Now we need to turn the pump on. We need to talk about the difference between blood and lymph. This is crucial for understanding why just sitting there isn't enough. Your blood has a massive, powerful engine behind it, your heart. Your heart beats effectively whether you are asleep, awake, running, or sitting. It pushes blood down to your toes and pulls it back up. It is an automatic, high-pressure system. It works without you thinking about it. Lymph fluid, that stuff causing the swelling in your ankles, the waste product, the cellular debris, is different. It is the waste disposal system of your body. But here's the kicker. Lymph does not have a heart. It has no dedicated pump. It is a passive system. It relies entirely on you to move it. It relies on movement, muscle contraction, and most importantly, pressure changes in your chest cavity. When you are stressed or in pain or just watching a tense movie on the news, how do you breathe? You breathe shallowly. You use your shoulders and your upper chest. You take tiny sips of air. When you do this, the pressure in your torso stays static. Nothing moves. The fluid sits stagnant in your ankles, like a swamp. To get that fluid moving against gravity, you need to create a vacuum effect. You need to turn your chest into a giant suction cup. You do this with deep, diaphragmatic belly breathing. This triggers the thoracic pump. Let's try this right now. You don't even have to move your legs yet. Just sit or lie comfortably. Place one hand on your belly, right over your belly button. Place the other hand on your upper chest. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose. Imagine you are trying to inflate a balloon inside your stomach. You want the hand on your belly to rise toward the ceiling. The hand on your chest should stay relatively still. Do not let your shoulders creep up toward your ears. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Exhale, let the belly fall. Do this 3 times. That rise and fall acts like a plunger. It changes the pressure in your abdomen and chest, literally pulling fluid up from the legs and into the trunk of your body. It is simple physics. High pressure goes to low pressure. By breathing deep, you are creating that low pressure zone in your chest that invites the fluid to leave your legs. There's a structure deep in your abdomen called the cisterna chyli. Think of it as a reservoir or a holding tank for lymph fluid coming from your legs. When you breathe deeply, your diaphragm massages this tank, squeezing it and forcing the fluid up toward the heart. If you don't breathe with your belly, this tank stays full. And if the tank is full, the pipes in your legs can't drain. Shallow breath equals stagnant fluid. Deep breath equals moving fluid. Step number 2, the second heart, the ankle pump. Gravity is helpful, but gravity plus muscle is powerful. Your calf muscles are often called your second heart by vascular surgeons. Why? Because the veins in your legs have one-way valves. These valves look like little pockets inside the vein. When your calf muscle contracts, when it tightens, it squeezes those deep veins. It shoots the blood and fluid up past the valve toward the heart. When the muscle relaxes, the valve closes so the fluid can't fall back down. It is a biological pump. While your legs are elevated on the ramp, do not just lie there like a statue. We want to activate that second heart. We are going to perform the ankle pump. It is simple but effective. I want you to imagine you are holding a tube of toothpaste. If you want to get the toothpaste out, you have to squeeze it. That's what your muscles are doing to your veins, squeezing the fluid out. Point your toes hard away from you, like you are pressing a gas pedal in a car. Feel the stretch on the top of your foot. Then pull your toes back hard toward your nose. Feel the stretch in your calf. Do this rhythmically. Point and pull. Point and pull. Do this 20 or 30 times. Rest for a minute, then do it again. This mechanical action forces the fluid out of the pockets in your ankles and pushes it up the ramp you have built. However, I need to give you a major safety note here. This is critical. If you have a history of blood clots, also known as deep vein thrombosis, DVT, or if you have a hot, red, swollen, and painful spot in your calf right now, do not do this exercise without medical clearance. If you have an active clot, we do not want to dislodge it. But for most people with general swelling, tired feet, or edema, this is the accelerator pedal for your recovery. Also, for those with congestive heart failure, CHF, be very careful with high elevation. When you lift your legs high and pump them, a lot of fluid returns to the heart quickly. If your heart is weak, it might struggle to handle that extra volume, and you might feel short of breath. If you have CHF, talk to your clinician before doing high elevation. Step number 1, the main drain, the secret release. We have arrived at the most important step, the one almost everyone misses. You are in position, you are breathing, you are pumping. But remember that main drain I promised to show you? The one that isn't in your legs? Here is the secret. It is right here, behind your collarbone. This is the eureka moment. Anatomically, almost all the lymph fluid from your legs, your gut, and your left arm travels up through the center of your body via the thoracic duct and dumps into the veins situated right behind your collarbones, specifically the left one, but we treat both. This is the terminus. This is the end of the line. It's the toll booth where the lymph highway merges onto the blood highway so the kidneys can process the waste. If your neck is tight, if your shoulders are hunched up to your ears from stress, or if you have poor posture, which most of us do, this area gets congested. It's like a traffic jam at the toll booth. If the cars at the front can't get through the gate, the cars miles back, in your ankles, cannot move either. We have to open the lid before we try to pour out the bottle. If the lid is on, nothing flows. Here's exactly how to do it. Try this while you are lying on your ramp. It's relaxing. Gently cross your arms over your chest like you are giving yourself a hug. Place your hands flat, resting just above your collarbones. You'll feel the soft skin at the base of your neck. You're going to do a tiny skin stretch. This is not a massage. You're not digging into your muscles. Lymph vessels are very superficial. They're right under the skin. They're fragile, like spider webs. If you press too hard, you collapse them and nothing moves. The pressure should be light. Imagine you're petting a cat or moving a coin across a table without scratching it. Gently drag the skin inward toward the center of your throat and down slightly toward your heart. Then release. Drag and release. Drag and release. It should be rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Do this about 10 to 15 times. You are manually stimulating the exit point. You are mimicking the pumping action of the valves.
You are opening the gate so the fluid has somewhere to go. It feels subtle. You might not feel anything happening immediately, but it sends a signal to your entire lymphatic system that the road is open. Think of this like priming a pump. By clearing the exit, you create a suction force that helps pull the fluid up from the legs. It connects the dots. Ramp plus breathing plus neck release equals maximum drainage. Putting it all together, your new evening ritual. So how long do you need to stay here? You might be worried that I am asking you to spend half your day lying on the floor. I am not. You don't need to be there for hours. In fact, if you stay there too long, your back might get stiff and you might get bored. 20 minutes is the sweet spot for most people. Research suggests it takes about that long for the fluid to mobilize, travel up the leg, and drain significantly. If you do 5 minutes, you are barely getting started. If you do an hour, you get diminishing returns. 20 minutes. Do this when you are already planning to rest. Do not make it a chore. Do it while you are listening to a podcast, reading a book, or listening to some calming music. Make it your downtime. Treat it as a reward, not a medical procedure. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Doing this for 20 minutes once a day is infinitely better than doing it for 2 hours once a week. Doing it for 20 minutes twice a day, maybe once after work and once before bed, is gold. That is how you get results. Let's review the protocol because I want you to memorize this. This is your checklist for freedom. 1. Ditch the 90-degree angle. Do not sit in the recliner with your hips folded. It kinks the hose. 2. Build the ramp. Get your feet higher than your knees and knees higher than your hips. Support the whole leg. 3. Check the knee pit. Ensure there is no hard pressure behind the knee. Keep the popliteal vein open. 4. Open the main drain. Gently stretch the skin above your collarbones to clear the terminus. 5. Turn on the vacuum. Practice deep belly breathing to empty the abdominal reservoir. 6. Activate the second heart. Pump your ankles to squeeze the fluid home. You might be wondering, will this fix my swelling forever? Elevation is a tool. It is a management strategy. If you have an underlying condition causing the swelling, like heart issues, kidney issues, or venous insufficiency, elevation helps manage the symptom, but it doesn't cure the disease. Always keep your doctor in the loop. But for the daily wear and tear, for the gravity-induced swelling that plagues so many of us, this technique is a game changer. Think about the difference this will make in your life. Imagine waking up in the morning and seeing the definition of your ankle bones again. Imagine putting on your shoes without having to loosen the laces to the very end. Imagine your legs feeling light and springy instead of heavy and dead. That is what proper fluid management feels like. It gives you the stability to carry groceries up the stairs without a second thought. It lets you play on the floor with your grandchildren without worrying if you can get back up. It is not about expensive gadgets. It is not about magic pills. It is about understanding the plumbing of your own body and working with it, not against it. Your body wants to heal. It wants to get rid of that old, stale fluid. It initiates a process called autophagy. Think of it as your body's internal recycling crew cleaning out old cells, but it can only do that if the waste is cleared away. You just have to clear the path and give it a nudge. Before I go, I have a quick question for you. I want you to think about your swelling pattern. Do you notice the swelling is worse on your left side or your right side, or is it perfectly equal? Drop a comment below. It helps us understand what you are dealing with, because sometimes asymmetrical swelling tells a different story about where the blockage might be. Start tonight. Don't wait. When you get home or when you are done with your chores, build your pillow ramp. Lie down, rub the collarbones, take those deep breaths, close your eyes and visualize the fluid draining away like water down a slide. You will feel the difference when you stand up. Your legs will thank you.
If you are finding this helpful, take a second to check if you are subscribed. We are building a community here of people who want to understand their bodies better, and I would love for you to be a part of it. We have a video on walking mechanics coming next week that pairs perfectly with this, because once you drain the fluid, you need to walk correctly to keep it away. You don't want to miss that. Elevation works, but it only works if you respect the mechanics. Don't fight gravity, work with it. Check out our other great video about Does Elevation Actually Help? The only way to drain fluid correctly. It goes even deeper into the science of the lymphatic system. Tap the card on your screen right now to watch it. I'll see you there.